Well, welcome to my channel, Mispronounced Adventures. My name's Alex, and welcome to a tech video. And welcome to the Swedish Arctic. Currently at my friend's property in his workshop, which we squeezed my van in with a few centimetres to the square.
Very good. I think we're a bit too close there.
After we dig the floor out. And he's left for a few days, so it's just me, the workshop, 19 reindeer, and the Northern Lights at night.
Just popped out the van, heading to the house for a shower, and yeah.
And the Arctic trips, I'm always very honest about them. I like driving around the Arctic. I also like making videos and installing tech on the van, and when I can work with companies which help fund that and send me stuff to install, that's what I do. So this video is sponsored by Wolfbox. And if you're familiar with this channel, I like cameras. My previous van has been covered in cameras. I had a DVR system which surrounded the vehicle, which lets me see things from Northern Lights to what's going on side to recording me crashing in a ditch. I also like dash cams as well. They've recorded me getting thrown across a car park by a storm at Nordkapp in my first Arctic winter, and eventually I crashed into a ditch. And just capture a few other things as well. Now, I already have a dash cam in this van, but one of the things I missed from my previous van is I had a dash cam which was in the format of the reversing mirror. And I ended up with an email from Wolfbox offering me the new Wolfbox G900 Pro and a bunch of the different kits to install it. So this video is going to be specifically about unboxing, installing and using the G900 Pro. And just so you know, whenever I can, I ask companies for an additional unit so I can give one away. And I do have one of these to give away. So at the end of the video, if you've enjoyed it, consider entering the competition, or you can potentially win one of these, and I'll send you a fully boxed one, which is brand new. First off then, let's get it unboxed and see what I've got. And whilst I say it's the Arctic, it is about -20 outside, but this is a 16 kilowatt diesel heater, and it is about 21 degrees inside this workshop. So I've actually turned this off. But if we hear any background noise over the course of the video, it's because that fires up to keep me warm and alive. Right, we've got a variety of packages. So, first one is the multi-size USB-C hardwire kit. So this is powered by USB-C, and you can have a cigarette lighter or you can have a hardwired power supply as well. And the hardwired power supply does have a voltage protection mode, so it can prevent your dash cam from draining your vehicle's battery by accident. So, let's have a look to see what we've got in the first one. Hardware kit, trim clips, variety of piggyback fuse holders, main normal size, mini, micro. 2 packs of those. So the power supply itself, USB-C, and you have 3 cables. You've got your negative, and then you've got your B+ and your ACC. So the reason some of these power supplies have 3 cables is because they usually have a parking mode and a driving mode. So driving mode, where the vehicle started, the dash camera turns on, pretty normal. Then often you'd have that on a ignition live, so when you turn the vehicle off, the dash camera goes off, doesn't drain your battery. But sometimes you might want a parking mode or a parking camera, which means you're still recording and usually at a different setting, and the camera needs to know you've parked up, and the way it usually does it is to look to see if there is a signal on an ignition live circuit. So one of these will be going to a constant live, and one of these will be going to a ignition live. This one, the B+ is probably going to be the constant live, and this one, the ACC, is going to be on the ignition, which is why there are 2 sets of piggyback fuse holders. When we get to installing this, I will reference another video on how I've installed it. That's the hardwire kit. Next up, this is the cable I asked for because this has got its own reversing camera, USB-C to the camera port, and the reason I asked for a longer one is just because I've got a van, and it's also got an additional wire. That wire is going to be for the reverse light, so that the camera knows when you're going into reverse by basically piggybacking off the reverse light itself. We'll open that package last. Let's get onto the actual unit itself, the G900 Pro. So 2 cameras, you've got your main one, which is 4K, and my rear camera, which is 2.5K. Super night vision, that's because it's using a Sony StarViz 2 sensor. Voice control, 5.4 GHz Wi-Fi, GPS built in, and a 12-inch touchscreen, which is the unit itself. And that is the core of the unit. Ports at the top, USB-C power, USB-C for the camera, an AV which is blocked up and not populated, SD card for storage, and GPS. That's your front-facing camera, power button on the bottom, 2 mics. The reason I want to open that package over there last is because this attaches to your existing mirror. And in the bottom of the box, we've got a power supply by the cigarette lighter if you want to use the 12-volt cigarette lighter. I prefer it hardwired in myself, which is why I asked for the additional kit. A variety of different straps, so you can just hook that over your existing mirror, as it's still going to be a reflective mirror, which is also a camera as well. I don't have a reflective mirror. The GPS unit, some little sticky plastic tabs for cable management, another trim lever, little cleaning cloth, the rear camera unit itself, which will get mounted later in the video. Looks to be an alternative bracket for the rear camera, or at least a spare bracket, and some stickers. Roof overhead, road ahead, Wolfbox. Quick guide, and the manual itself, because there'll be lots of different features on it, including an app and the desktop program to use, but we'll play with that later. Right, let's get... So the final box is because my van, being a van, does not have a rear view mirror. So I asked for the kit, which allows you to install your own rear view mirror, and opposed to using the straps, this screws to the back of the unit. So you can unscrew those tabs and screw that in there instead, because I don't have a mirror. And this can just get glued to the glass. Right, let's start getting it installed. Just need a really small screwdriver to do it. Did anyone see what happened to those screws? Were they in the box when I unboxed it? The useful thing about recording your videos is you can go watch them back again. And that's where the missing screws were. Right, one mount done. Next is to figure out the actual positioning of it. Right, here's the plan. I've temporarily removed my other dash cam for the purpose of filming this video. And I don't really have the correct stuff to bond it onto the glass. So I'm going to probably bolt that through into that bit of trim there and have the camera up there. Right, little bracket installed. I just sorted that bit of trim off and put a bolt through the little plate and screwed it through. And I just tighten that up. A bit wobblier than I would like. I think when I get back to the UK, I will buy some of the glass bonding agent and actually bond the metal plate to the windscreen like a normal one. I just don't have that to do that in a minute, but that's what this will do for now. I could bond it to there. I just wasn't happy with how it was bouncing around on there, so I'm going to mount it to here instead, which is my camera mount, which should work for the purpose of this trip. Let's start getting all the extra bits in. All right, next up, I need to install the camera itself. So I'm going to put it on my roof rack here. This is the camera the van comes with, which is displayed when you're reversing the main console. And this is my other dash cam. I'm going to put it on my roof rack here, and then the cables can run down that way and over there. Camera wise, it does come with some BHB tape, and I just used some brake cleaner behind there a minute ago to clean that off, so we should be all good in that department. And although it's in the Arctic, it is warm in here, so I'm not too worried about it not being warm enough for BHB tape. There we go. Now I'm going to have mine pointing a bit further back, because any time that I actually don't want to go in reverse, this one is already looking directly down, so I don't really need this one to look directly down. And it's probably overkill, but let's just properly clamp it on there whilst I sort out the next bit. Ladder. So a slight nuisance for me, this is the cable which plugs into the camera, and then you have this little red wire. Now this little red wire goes on the reverse light, which is down here. One of these, with the point being when you put it into reverse, that light comes on, acts as a signal for this, and the camera knows to go into reverse mode. Problem I have is my cable entry gland is at the front of the van. So I need to extend this cable all the way to go to the front, and then it needs to come all the way to the back and get into one of these lights. So I'm going to extend it now, and then I will start running the cable. Right, time to start getting this rigged up. Let's get some cable ties and yeah, start doing this. And next is just the fiddly job of running the cables, cable tying it along the back of the van, then the side, and then opening up my cable glands so I can start getting the cabling running inside the van. Now another option is if you did have a car with a back window, you can mount it internally, or you can also mount it near the number plate so the wiring could be a bit easier. Right, cables are all run. I'm just going to leave the box open for a little bit because I've got a few extra things to do for another video tonight, like auxiliary lighting, so I'll leave that open. Time to get the inside of the van. Now, I could just go find a reverse signal from here, but then I'd have to run a cable all the way back and through the van, which would be a bit of a pain. Now, since the whole conduit for the van runs across here, the reverse light cable is going to be here, and I've already looked it up, so this cable here, the blue and white one, is the reverse lights. So I'm going to splice into that and run a cable to come off it to be my signal. Right, I've just cut it and extended it into a 3-way Wago connector because I don't have a little splice connector with me. But now I've got a spare gap that I can actually run my signal cable from it. Next job is to get the power supply wired in. Now, what this power supply can do is, because it has the 3 cables, which were previously mentioned, it allows you to use parking mode, because it's going to have a constant live and then an ignition live. If you're just using this socket, then it's probably only going to be the ignition live or powered when this socket is on, which means you'll lose out on the parking mode. That's not very long. Right, time to get these all wired in. So in the manual, what they're doing, they're all labelled. Red is ACC, so that's your ignition. B plus is your constant, and black is your negative. Strangely, and you're about to see in the next clip, I'm going to tap into my existing dash cam's wiring, and the ACC and constant live colours are switched. So you're going to see me wire them to the opposite colours, but don't worry about that. Now, since wiring in a dash cam can be very specific to the vehicle you're using, I'm not showing it in depth here. On the channel there is another video about how to find an ignition live and a constant live really easily on the MAN TGE or VW Crafter. So if you want to see specifically how I've wired it in, check out the alternative video. Right, let's get it booted up for the first time. I'll run the power cable nice and neatly at a later date. And probably in ignition. Why does it sound like a dial-up phone? I think one thing I want to do then is I want to get it set up so it's my Wi-Fi. The flickering you can see here is to do with the LED lighting in the workshop. I'm going to have to go on my phone. Right, what we're going to do is set up the app on my phone. Next up, GPS unit. Now, it would be really convenient to put it somewhere like here, but the instructions specifically say for GPS unit, make sure the black side is pointing up and it does say up on it. So I'm going to plug it in there, and probably just tuck it around here, down the A-pillar, and then just have it resting down at the bottom of there for now. It's got a VHB pad on it, so it can be further. Right, just position down there for now. Right, any more wires that I would like on the show. I think long term I'll put a hole in here just so I can really run all of these wires out of the central bit of plastic, as opposed to just the tucking underneath there. But that is a job for another day. Right, that's the GPS module plugged in. So that means we should now have speed data and location, which may or may not work because we're still inside the garage. Yep, we've got the speed data there. Cool, it's very responsive. Maybe now that means, ugh. I mean, one main observation would be, though we'll look at it elsewhere, is the quality of this camera is so much better than the van's built-in one. The van's built-in is nicely positioned, so I can actually see the rear step, exactly how far I'm parking back. You know, I'm actually super impressed with this. Right, you've got an absolute ton of options to play with: resolutions, display modes, sound recording, loop recording, G sensor, so that's for like crashes, fatigue reminder, if you're driving too long, Wi-Fi on and off, so normally the Wi-Fi is off, then I turn it on if I want to use the app to connect, but you can pick which particular gigahertz mode you want to connect to. Volume settings, the click tone, screensaver, screen brightness, exposure for the cameras, voice control, mirror flip, rear flip, so that's if you're, depending on the orientation, you're mounting the back camera. Reversing lines, parking mode is to do with the time lapsing. You can have motion, it gates a clip if something knocks the camera, or you can have it for time lapse modes. I've got it on the time lapse mode. The GPS saying what it's currently picking up, and then all the bunch of different things which are actually displayed on the screen as well. So I turn most of them off, so I haven't got loads of information on the actual rear view mirror. Speed, languages, clocks, time style, time zones, daytime savings, flicker, help, formatting, apps, and more. Like lots and lots of different things to play with, and so quite a customizable unit in that sense. Right, overall performance of the Wolfbox G900 Pro. This is a few weeks after I installed it, so the first part of the video, and subsequently I spent the rest of the winter playing around in the Arctic, and then driven back to the UK. So I'll be able to put it through its paces. Visually, I've been pretty impressed with the video quality from it. You know, the whole point of a dash cam is to give you video evidence if you need it. The abilities to get number plates is definitely there, even in low light conditions. And I've been playing around with it at sunset. Not a bad view out of the rear mirror. And even at night, I've noticed the quality is pretty good.
those Sony Starvis 2 sensors, which have some really good low light performance.
I'm also pretty impressed of how bright that actually is. You can see outside when it's dark, and that's just the ambient light and some high ISO boosting it. But yeah, pretty well good.
Now, I did have one little issue of the blue, which you can see here.
So one of the things I do find is that the rear camera is quite blue, whilst my front one is normal colour. Now, they are different cameras, different resolution, but I don't quite understand why it's doing that. But that only seems to happen in a lower light situation. Actually, one of the things I've just found out from having a Google, and there's a really good Wolfbox Facebook group, is this rear turning blue happens quite a lot in snowy driving conditions. When it's lower light, the camera gets a bit confused of what the tint should be of white because it's a snowy situation, and ends up going over the top on the blue, which is why in other situations it's been normal. So it seems it's something to do with how the camera misinterprets what the correct colour of white is and ends up going really blue. But it only does that on the rear camera, not the front one.
But having spoken to Wolfbox and looked at the Facebook group, this is a known problem to do with colour temperatures, especially in snowy environments, and I was testing it in the Arctic, so that's not surprising, and it's something they're working on. One of the unexpected features that I've quite liked is the time-lapse feature that I've got it set to automatically go into when I park up, and that's good enough to actually capture the northern lights. Whilst dash cams are normally used in case of an accident, so you've got that footage just in case, for me and content, it's also great that it's decent quality to reuse those footage if I need to, like me getting pulled over. Twice in 15 minutes. You can also take this footage onto the app or onto your computer and use the desktop, and you can rewatch the footage, but it's also got your GPS timestamp of where you were driving through that course of that footage and the speed you were going. So it works quite well if you need it for evidence as well. But yeah, I couldn't be happier. Great quality footage looking on the actual unit itself, and when you pull the footage as well, definitely quite usable with good audio as well. And that's pretty much going to be it. If you like the look of the Wolfbox G900 Pro, consider checking out the links in the description. And get one yourself. Thanks Wolfbox for working with me. And if you want to see the sort of places where I use the footage I might get through dashcam, consider checking out the rest of Arctic Season Round 5. And if you're still here, there was a competition to give away a fully boxed version of the G900 Pro, and I do. So to enter the competition below, check the description for the overall details, but put a comment, make sure you specifically use the word G900 in your comment, and that will enter you into the competition. I'm going to use a random comment picker, and the word it's going to look for is G900. So put a comment below what you would use the G900 Pro for, or why you might want it in your vehicle, and you could potentially win yourself one. But anyway, I just want to make content for you guys to enjoy. So thanks for joining me. I'll see you next time. Cheers. Bye.